This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Jega. This portion of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnership with Minnesota Public Radio and Little Moments Count.
Hey, Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focused on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of life.
Yes, for more information, you can visit littlemomentscount.org.
Hey, we have our friend Beth Ann Dodds of White Earth, Ojibwe, and program manager for Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative, a nonprofit of All Nations Rise, and Geri Goodwin, also a White Earth Ojibwe and 2025 graduate of the Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative, cohort number 3. Welcome, and it's great to see you guys again. Or great to see you, and great to see you again, Beth. You know, could you talk a little bit and let our listeners know a little bit about yourself before we get going? And we'll start with you, Beth.
I have a background that spans various facets of community service, helping people foster resilience and growth. I am a Reiki practitioner. I am a hands-on healing practitioner. That led me to really wanting to help people know who they are, and found myself always gravitating towards volunteering as a young mom, dragging my kids along, and working in soup kitchens in the Twin Cities area. That led me to becoming a coordinator for Loaves and Fishes, and eventually becoming their volunteer coordinator for a very substantial cohort of 35 individuals that helped man the soup kitchens. That led me to become a director of an urban food shelf. And then my partner had terminal cancer back in, and passed away back in 2016. And that led me to really take a look at myself a little bit deeper. And I realized I needed to move north. And so saw myself coming back home, I will say, in 2020. And I'm really glad that I made that decision, because it brought me to this position, becoming the program manager of the Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative. And I'm very grateful, very grateful.
Wow, excellent. Geri, do you mind, Geri Goodwin, do you mind giving us a little background of who you are?
Wajuhanin, Nigani, Mahini, Mahingan, Indigenous Cause, Mayangan and Dudam, Gawa Babi, Ganika, and Dujaba, Manoman Inda. My name is Geri Goodwin. I'm from White Earth Reservation. Both my parents are from White Earth. We moved around quite a bit when I was a little girl, from the cities, Duluth, and back here to the reservation. And spent my school days, most of them up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I came back home in 2016 to take care of my dad, and now he has passed since 2018. I found being back home was what I needed. And I worked in the cities. I worked with MoneyGram International, City Financial, Dayton Hudson Corporation. And coming to the reservation, I started working for Circle of Life, Anishinaabe Home Care. Started out as an advocate, love advocating for our people on the reservation, and I'm an office branch manager. And being back home and seeing, the life on the reservation is kind of heartbreaking. And has just been working with our clients here at Circle of Life has just, I just want to be out there on foot and trying to help people. And that's what brought me to, I used to be the babysitter at IPLI. And then it's a commitment, and a couple of the girls have asked me about coming aboard, and I wasn't ready the second cohort, but the third one I was definitely ready. And I'm glad that I joined the class, the family, and very beneficial. Very, I have a new family, new extended family.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Beth Ann, can you share what the Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative, IPLI, is and how it aims to support our Native families in the White Earth Nation?
Yeah, the Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative is a program by All Nations Rise. We are the sponsoring agency, and it is a free 22-week program that integrates child development, leadership, democracy skills, and Ojibwe culture into a parent curriculum to empower the parent voice. And one of the main components of IPLI is the Individual Community Project, which I'm excited to hear Geri tell you all about it.
We are excited too. I would love to know, Beth Ann, like how many cohorts have you done with IPLI so far?
Sure, we just graduated our third cohort on Sunday, which was very exciting. We had a lovely ceremony at Shooting Star Casino where we honored our new 6 graduates and our very first cohort of the Indigenous Children's Leadership Initiative. We graduated 4 children this year as well. So it was a small cohort, but they are mighty.
In your experience, Beth Ann, how does engaging young children in reading and singing influence their language skills and cultural pride later in life?
Well, one thing that we are doing in the Children's Initiative is incorporating Indigibox, which, Haley, I know you know about Indigibox. I think Robert does too.
We love Indigenous Box.
Yeah, we love Indigibox too. And what Indigibox brings into the Children's Initiative is we are connecting the core teachings of the children's leadership curriculum to culture. So they are getting some hands-on and learning about maple syrup and wild rice and what it means to be a leader in a tribal community. Couple that with some ASL. They learn ASL right alongside the Ojibwe words. The singing and the language is still to come as we continue to build the program. But we're looking forward to this summer to really digging in and creating something more now that we've gotten our feet wet. But these children learn right alongside their parents. They're learning a civics curriculum. They're learning what it's like to be a leader. They're learning to public speak. They're learning what it feels like to stand in front of a room and hold a microphone. We're really proud of what they've done.
Hey, let's talk more about this. Hey, it's Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Hi, this is Governor Walz. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is presented in partnership with Minnesota Public Radio and Little Moments Count. For more information, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
Hey, right on. Hey, we're here with Beth Ann Hedman Dodds and Geri Goodwin, and we were just talking a little bit, Beth Ann, about the Indigenous box. Is there anything else? The Indigeni box? I think adults should have those, and those would be cool for everybody, but I always get excited when you talk about it.
Yeah, we know adults need it too. We will be creating family boxes, though, so parents can learn right alongside their children, in addition to this being created for early childhood classrooms. You know, we're not only for our own people, but we want to bridge that gap with those that are not Native and the teachers who are teaching Native children, to have a curriculum that is already established, and all of the materials provided. It helps our teachers and it helps our parents, and they get to learn too.
Yeah, that is awesome. Geri, can you tell us a little bit about the recent graduation ceremony? And this is the third cohort of IPLI, and exciting to hear your take on it. And then we'll talk a little bit about Ruth about it too.
Okay. Well, when I joined the class, it is our first class. Right away, it was very welcoming. Everybody shared their knowledge. It was a safe environment. There were a lot of tears at the beginning of the class. We were learning a lot about ourselves when we were kids, and we had a lot of good conversations that stayed in the room. And again, we had many tears, happy ones, and it was just a safe environment. And like I said earlier, I've got a new family, and I know that we will stay connected through Love Night groups, outside of Love Night groups, you know, during the powwow season, and then community. And it was just an awesome experience for me, and I'm glad that I joined, and I hope it continues for many, many years. And we have a lot of cohort graduates on the Right Earth Reservation and other reservations surrounding us.
That's right on. So how, Beth, how is this different, or was it different, this graduation? Talk about that and from your perspective.
Standing at the podium, I was host for the day for the graduation ceremonies, and standing at the podium and seeing our cohort 3 graduates, but also seeing cohort 1 and cohort 2 graduates in the audience who are cheering on these new graduates. Listening to cohort 1, we gave them an opportunity to speak, cohort 1 and cohort 2, and listening to the positive changes that they've made within themselves, within their villages, within the reservation as a whole. We have graduates who are going to Washington and speaking before Congress, lending their lived experience, Indigenous voices. In Washington, you know, that's wonderful. I often hear, somebody would have told me I'd be on the National Mall today, I wouldn't have believed them. And they're doing that. We have graduates who are working for the American Public Human Services Administration. We have them sitting on the Head Start Advisory Council. We have them bringing presentations to the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition Conference. We have graduates who are saving lives in the tribal community through their Narcan training. One of our graduates, Judd Brown, was just honored by the tribe and the tribal police for the amount of lives that he has saved. You know, when you look at 27 individuals that have graduated with us so far across the 3 cohorts, the ripple effects are grand. We believe every tribal community should have a program like the Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative.
That's great. Geri, as a recent graduate, how has the program impacted your own leadership journey? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think it's made me more confident, more stronger. Like I've been an advocate for a long time. I've been on the reservation, meeting, been in the homes and meeting the clients, and it has given me the drive that I always wanted to do and the opportunity. And with the class, I learned a lot of tools and met a lot of people, and just to go and learn, about what what I want to do with my project, and go to the other classes and around the community, and just to learn more about that and get out there and work hard towards my goal.
That's beautiful. So, how is IPLI is now expanding onto other tribal communities through partnerships with the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families? What does this expansion mean for the future of Indigenous parent leadership, Beth?
It's going to create a larger ripple effect across the state of Minnesota. So we are partnering with the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families. We are seeking proposals from qualified tribal nations and American Indian organizations. I believe there is room for 4 of those tribal nations or organizations to become a grantee of the program. That means so much for our state. That means so much for our Native parents across the state. We are so excited to be able to share our journey and to guide them and help them create this in their own community.
Wow, that's beautiful. And how will the new federally or state-funded expansion help reach more families to ensure this program's sustainability? And I guess I'll ask you that, Beth.
So the state this is a 3-year grant, and the state will be starting with a 100% funding. I believe it is up to $75,000 per year. As each year of the grant progresses, that funding becomes less, with the understanding that the tribal nation or organization will make up the cost. So this is really grassroots, boots on the ground, looking for partnerships, ensuring that it can be sustained within the community. But this is where, we talk about it takes a village, right? So this is where a tribal nation or a tribal organization can partner with others to bring it to their community. Each community establishes a civic design team. In the White Earth community, we call it an advisory council. Ours is made up of alumni, but it's designed to bring people in from all walks of life within the community to work together to guide the initiative forward. So you are working with lots of different people to ensure that our children are being taken care of. And, Robert, how do we help the kids?
Mm-hmm.
How do we help the kids? We help the parents through the Indigenous Parent Leadership Initiative.
Yeah, that's really awesome. For the families that are interested in participating in future cohorts or community projects, what steps should they take to get involved? And Geri, maybe you can help with that, seeing that you were just in the last cohort. You can kind of tell people how to get involved.
Well, they can get involved on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, and we do have links. Now, when the class starts up again this fall, we will have a link for them to apply. And we do have available facilitators that we are looking for. To, if anyone is interested in facilitating our class this fall, we have them open too.
Yeah,
Wow.
specific in the White Earth Nation. And if people want to learn more about the RFP, the request for proposals that are open through the state of Minnesota, they can contact me, Beth at allnationsrise.com. You can also reach me at beth@indigenousvisioning.com, or you can visit the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families website, and that's dcyf.mn.gov.
Wow, that's beautiful. Beth Ann Hedman and Geri Goodwin, Dodds, thank you so much for being on. And this is always great seeing you two, and I appreciate you so much and all the work you're doing for our little ones. Pinigigi, thank you so much.
Miigwech, appreciate it.
Miigwech, Gigawaba man.
Yeah, right on. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the seventh generation. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Native Roots Radio.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.